Aw, snap. Is that what I think it is? You'd be right. It's episode 25 of the podcast. That's crazy. Wow. What am I doing? Anyway, yeah, so I'm alone today. It is the podcast time. Once again, a little bit late this week, but I had a very, very busy week and whatnot. So let's chat. Let's catch up, right? Last week, I briefly mentioned that I had a New Year's resolution for my second channel to upload every single week, specifically on every single Saturday, right? And so far, we've actually failed that, but we've basically done it. It's weird. The first Saturday I did miss. I uploaded it on Sunday, my Hilda review, but I was about to upload it on Saturday, but it was copyrighted, so there really wasn't much I could do about that. It was already pretty late in the day, so like by the time I would have edited it, figured out what was copyrighted, and then exported, re-uploaded it, I would have been out of time. So I uploaded it on like 10 a.m. on Sunday. So I don't really count that as failing the resolution because it was copyright that got in my way, right? Which is like kind of unpredictable. So that kind of sucked. So theoretically, yes, I have failed the resolution, but we're still gonna keep it going, right? I'm not gonna say that like, oh, just because of copyright, I'm gonna give up now. No. So I've uploaded 2 videos so far, and both of them have performed pretty badly, actually. The Hilda video was like, okay. It was extremely below average for my channel. But it was pretty bad. And then the Ed and Eddie one, which I uploaded yesterday at the time of recording. I don't know if this will release today, but it performed really, really badly, actually, which is pretty sad. Pretty sad. It's just because my audience doesn't care about that kind of show. And that's the kind of thing I'm just trying to transfer my audience. It's really hard to do with my major subscriber count of like 93,000 subscribers, which are all there to watch Owl House and Amphibia. And when I keep showing them all these other shows, they're just like, well, I don't care about that. So yeah, it's pretty tough to transition and find a new audience when your algorithmic position is, catered toward a certain audience already, and that audience doesn't really exist anymore because they've all the show's over. It's all just based on a trend, so they all just go out somewhere else, right? And I can guarantee you, at least 25% of people on Zeez of G2 either 1, don't know that they're subscribed to me, 2, would unsubscribe to me if they knew that they were still subscribed to me, and 3, don't even know that I'm posting videos because it doesn't show up in their subscriber box or whatever. But it is what it is. In the coming months, we're just gonna keep trying to power on through that. So that's kind of how that is. It's a little demoralizing. In fact, it's very demoralizing to see the videos perform really, really badly. But I'm not really demoralized by it too much because I'm having fun with the videos, right? I am having fun with the videos. And, at the end of the day, that's what's important. Except for the fact that that channel doesn't really make that much money anymore. Fun fact, the Identity 5 channel is actually the biggest financing channel right now. Which is funny because I just introduced that channel recently. So it's like, what would have happened have I not introduced that channel, huh? Pretty interesting stuff. Anyways, yeah, that channel's doing well. But Zeez of G2 is it's suffering, dude. It's a dying channel, and it's on its last breath, which is sad. But we're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it going. See what we can do to defibrillator it. We're gonna try to find a way to get it back. I'm not really sure how though yet. We'll figure it out. Hopefully, maybe 3 Big City Green videos in a row might do something. I don't even know. I'll hopefully figure it out one day. But yeah, that's kind of how Zeez of G2 is going. But again, even though the finances aren't really coming in, I'm having fun making the videos, right? I had a lot of fun making the Hilda video, and I had a lot of fun talking about the Ed and Andy video as well. And I even included some more funny personal moments in there, I guess I could say, telling about a past story and including the stream that was included on this channel. So I tried to make it a little bit more fun, add a bit of my personality into the review so that people would be more attached to the channel itself as opposed to just the content that I'm creating. I don't know. I figured it'd be worth a try, but it doesn't really matter if nobody sees the video. So yeah, that's kind of how that's going. And a fun fact, I actually have tried to film this podcast 3 times already, and every single time I realize that I just end up complaining about the state of the channels. So I'm gonna probably just stop talking about the channels right here to avoid going on a complaint train, because YouTube algorithm, YouTube audience, yeah, it's a whole nightmare of stuff. So I don't really want to get into that too much. But in more fun terms, so I guess fun terms for me, it has actually been snowing a lot recently, and I love the snow. We've had many conversations on this podcast before about winter versus summer and whatnot, and I absolutely love the snow. I took a little walk yesterday, very, very chilly, and it was snowing the whole time, but it was so beautiful. I know it's due to light pollution and whatnot and all the lights around, but something about walking out in the middle of the night, at 3 a.m., and it's like basically really, really bright just because of all the lights shining off the snow and everything's reflecting off the white snow. It's really weird. It is really, really weird. But truly a mystical experience, I guess you could say. I don't know. I think it's really fun. I really love the snow. I made a few snowballs. I threw some snowballs and just kind of took a nice little walk. It was very chilly, but it's fine because I can just come back to a heated apartment, so who cares? Another thing that I did recently, mainly due to the fact that I think like a new prequel show was released or something, I actually watched the Ted movie. If you haven't seen the Ted movie, it's about this like weird teddy bear that's like a magical talking teddy bear, and it's pretty crude. It's like, I think it's written by like Seth MacFarlane, who's like the creator of Family Guy and whatnot. The writing is really, really crude, but it is a good movie though. I actually really enjoyed the movie. There are some parts of it that like just didn't really appeal to my humor, stuff that I didn't really care about too much. But it was still just kind of like a bizarre, like, oh wow, this is the teddy bear doing this. This is really freaking weird. Again, not a show for children in the slightest, but I did think the movie was pretty funny, and it surprisingly had some pretty good emotional moments in there. I won't really go into it without spoiling it, but apparently there's like this new show for Ted. I believe there's like Ted, and then there's like Ted 2. There's like a second movie. I've only seen the first movie, but there's a show that came out that's like a prequel, I'm pretty sure, and I've already seen clips of people just memeing on that show. One of them I actually used myself to make like some stupid Identity 5 meme that I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, because the show was coming out, I decided to watch the movie just because why not? I thought it would just be like a fun little thing to have a movie night. I was pretty burned out from editing like 10 hours in the day, so I was just like, let's just watch a movie. Why not? We'll just watch freaking Ted. And I remember when I was a kid, I wanted to watch Ted because I thought it looked kind of funny. I was like, oh look, teddy bear, haha, funny. And then I saw like a few clips from the show, and I was like, oh, why would they do this? The teddy bear wouldn't say that. He's supposed to be so nice and friendly. I hate Ted. Because, like, you know, as a kid, I was just like, if anything wasn't, like, wholesome freaking 100 or whatever, I don't like that word, but wholesome 100 or whatever, I was just like, ew, this sucks. And, you know, to this day, I still have, like, a portion of that, but, like, you know, I've grown up and realized that, like, yeah, there's, like, more adult-focused content out there that, like, you know, kids should not watch. And I can appreciate the shows while just ignoring the things that I don't really find to be that funny. Because I don't think you have to enjoy every single part of the movie to still find it enjoyable. Same with like the sense of humor, right? The sense of humor just wasn't really like super up my alley, at least all the time. There's some good jokes in there, but like I'd say like 70% of the jokes just like were not like my type of comedy. I just don't really laugh at that kind of stuff. But even then, like the plot was pretty interesting, and I wasn't just gonna like turn it off in the middle of it. It kept me engaged. I was really curious to see where it went, and I enjoyed the movie. It was a good time. It was definitely a good time. And I might check out the second movie, and then I might check out the prequel series. I'm not really sure. And I wanted to talk about the lack of content on YouTube as a whole recently. Just real fast, it is January, so a lot of creators are taking time off. I've noticed that a lot of my favorite YouTubers that I like watching, they're just not uploading videos, and I'm so not used to that, right? I'm so used to like having, you know, a video every single week or whatever. From a lot of the creators that I watch, and it's just like, oh wow, I guess we're just not having videos this week. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's because it's January. And the reason why that is, I believe I've mentioned it on this channel before, but for those who haven't heard it, when it's December time, it's super good to upload videos in December because the ad revenue in December is really, really good because it's time for the holidays. A lot of people are spending money. A lot more advertisers are spending more money on ads, especially like right before Christmas, right? That's like the peak. And then after Christmas, it starts falling off a little bit because usually like a lot of the advertisers and whatnot, they have these things based on like a month. And then once it hits January, boom. Advertising money like tanks because all the advertisers have spent all their stuff for the holidays, and it's the beginning of the year. They're trying to like, okay, let's start pulling back. Let's only use money for what we need. And then like YouTube just loses a lot of the advertisers that way. And so when it comes to monetization in January, it tanks like a lot. It tanks a whole lot. It starts taking a good amount. I'd say like 20 to 30% of your revenue that you're making in December, it just starts tanking. And it could even be more. It could be more. That's around where my monetization tanked. It tanked around like 20 to 30%. But it can tank up to like 40%. Yeah, so a good amount of creators, they'll like work really, really hard in December, and then they'll just basically take January as a vacation. Because, you know, as a creator, you don't really like get vacation. You kind of just assign yourself vacation because you're your own boss, so you kind of just choose what you want to do. But yeah, that's why you see a lot of creators just taking breaks in January, not uploading a lot of content. It's really funny. A specific gaming channel I'll watch that is like super inconsistent with their uploads. They'll film a video, and then like they won't release the video until like 4 months later, and it's so funny. They do like Halloween specials in like February. It's pretty funny because it's like, oh, here's the Halloween special, and then they just forget that they filmed it, or like their editors never edited it or something, and then they just don't even upload it until February. It's really funny. It's pretty funny. But in December they upload every single day, and it's so funny because like the videos that they upload are from so long ago. So it's just like a lot of the topics that they talk about have lost so much relevancy, and I never really liked that about the channel, I guess. Like, it's still content, right? It's still good content at the end of the day, but to me at least it kind of feels like they don't really care and they're just doing it for the money, which is, I guess it's fine, right? It is fine because it is December. You know, I do the exact same thing. I post more videos in December. But when you genuinely enjoy a creator's content, it doesn't really feel good for them to upload a bunch of videos in December, like every single day, right? You're getting these awesome videos every single day, and the issue with every single one of those videos is that they're all like filmed so long ago, so it's just kind of like, these conversations are a little bit stale. And they might be talking about events that were current to them, but now it's just like, oh, well, that doesn't matter because it was 4 months ago plus. It could even be like 6 months ago. And then once January hits, boom, no more videos. No more videos for like a month, maybe 2, and it's just like, well, that kind of sucks. That kind of just feels bad. I don't know. I still watch that channel, but I'm not gonna name like what channel it is. There's like plenty of channels that do stuff like that. But you know, I personally just don't really like the idea of people uploading in December and then just taking breaks in January. But again, you know, people do have lives. A lot more people on YouTube see it as a business rather than just a creative outlet. Whereas I see it as a bit of both. Now, to transition from just specifically December, January content, revenue, whatnot, speaking of a lack of content in general, a good amount of YouTubers are stepping away. A good amount of like childhood YouTubers are stepping away or like changing their ways. I think the biggest one that people were talking about is MatPat. MatPat from Game Theory. Now, I don't want to like lie and say that I've watched MatPat for years, religiously, of course. You know, I've seen like maybe a video every couple months or something. So like maybe like 6 or 7 times a year I'll watch a MatPat video. But you know, it's very few and far between. So I've caught up sort of, but just like I'm not like, you know, there for every FNAF video, every single video, film theory, game theory, food theory, fashion, whatever the other ones are. But you know, I watched him a lot in the past, right? I watched him a lot in the past, along with like a lot of the other normal Boots creators like Peanut Butter Gamer and whatnot. I still have Peanut Butter Gamer. He's awesome. But yeah, it's just like, it's interesting to see that MatPat is now stepping away. Like a childhood YouTuber is stepping away, and that's the case for a lot of YouTubers, right? A lot of my childhood YouTubers have kind of stepped away, and I think it's really interesting that a lot of the popular creators, especially all from like a somewhat certain time, are kind of stepping away now from YouTube. And I found that to be pretty interesting, right? I found that to be really, really interesting, and it just goes to show like what people value, I guess. Because for example, in MatPat's goodbye video, I didn't watch like all of it, but I watched most of it. He said that he wanted to just focus more on, you know, his life and his family, as opposed to just, you know, thinking about YouTube all the time, right? And it kind of got me thinking, right? I think about YouTube all the time too. Is there ever gonna come a day where I leave specifically for like the reasons that he's doing? Because I always mention that like when I turn 40, I want to like stop YouTube. I think that's like a good time to stop it, or like depending on like, you know, my creative outlets and whatnot. Cause I do have like many passions outside of YouTube as well that I want to explore, but YouTube is just the biggest one, and I want to do it for as long as I can. But it just kind of got me thinking that like the YouTubers I grew up with are now moving on, and I am now a YouTuber, not a big YouTuber. My relevancy is like in the garbage can, but I am now a YouTuber that people are growing up with. And that's so weird to think about. It really is like a passing of the torch, or the torch has now been passed to me in my generation, I guess you could say. Because, you know, most YouTubers are probably like in their 20s, and I'm in my 20s currently. And, you know, most YouTubers will probably, at least the ones that really, really love it, they'll stick around for like at least 10 years, right? Maybe like a little over 10 years or something. And that's pretty interesting to think about. Like even now, I've made people, like I think MatPat said he's like making videos for like a third of his life or something, and it hasn't been a third of my life, but it's getting there. it's on its way, which is really interesting to think about, right? It's super interesting to think about the whole passing of the torch to like the next generation of YouTubers. It is really fascinating, and I've just seen some other people, a lot of other YouTubers seeing these people like retiring and like moving on to other things. And some people have just been hopping on the bandwagon and being like, yeah, I think I'm gonna, you know, quit sometime soon. Or it's just like, yeah, maybe, you know, in a couple of years, I'm gonna move on too. And it's like, that's crazy, right? That's really, really crazy. And I know a lot of it is like mixed up. Like, everybody has their own reasons, right? Everybody has their own reasons for doing things. And I don't want to scare anything. I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry. I have no plans to go anywhere anytime soon. Do not worry. YouTube, again, is my biggest passion. I think about it like 99% of the day. I'm thinking about YouTube. So don't worry. I have no plans to go anywhere anytime soon. So don't worry about that. I'm really just talking about the subject of it all. I am not gonna quit anytime soon. I think I would. I don't even know what I would do if I quit YouTube right this very second. I have no idea what I would do. Literally, I have no idea. I mean, I'd probably just go back to college. I don't know like what I would do to feel satisfied, right? Like I feel satisfied by my work with YouTube. Obviously, I don't feel like satisfied to the max. I feel like I could just be more satisfied by like better videos and whatnot. But I enjoy the things that I put out, and I have fun with it. And I feel like what the heck would I even do? Like I'd be able to play video games again without having to film them, right? Like I barely play video games unless I'm filming them nowadays. And I guess it was another one of the things that MatPat said. He said he could now finally just sit back. He could sit back down on the couch and not have to think about content when playing a game. He can just play the game. And that's kind of crazy for me. And I know that sounds really weird probably to you. But for me, I don't really play video games anymore unless I'm creating content on them or grinding in them specifically to create content on them. Like I'll grind in like Fire Emblem or Identity 5. I'll grind in those games, but it's usually for content, right? It's usually for content. There are some games that I'll play for fun. You know, I play like Smash Bros for fun here and there. But games that have like stories or have like a narrative, I like rarely ever play on my own time, ever, because I just play them on stream or I play them on like a Let's Play now. And I've been doing that for 5 years. And there are so many games. This is actually a good transition to talk about the games that I need to finish. Oh yeah, another one of my New Year's resolutions. I didn't talk about this yet. This one's actually a really, really big one. But I wanted to finish all of the major projects or major games that I have wanted to play for like the past year, right? Because I feel like 2024 is a big transitional year for me, right? 2023 and 2022 are pretty much like focused on Zeez of 2 only. And now we're kind of focusing on this transitional period where Zeez of 2 is going through like a transitional audience. The Identity 5 channel is here now and it's popping off pretty well. But since I'm transitioning this year and focusing my efforts towards specific things, I want to finish all the projects that are like gaming related, like Let's Plays and stories and whatnot, that I wanted to finish for a while now. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly to do that, especially like with how much time they take. But I think like when it comes to 2025, like if I'm able to snowball enough like momentum into 2025, I don't want to have all these old projects and old series that I want to do holding me back, right? I want to finish them this year. So that's like another New Year's resolution that I have. Again, I just don't know how I'm going to finish it just yet. So hopefully we'll have like a lot of streams this year going over specific games. Because like I said, I wanted to finish 2 final games that are Let's Plays, and that is Tears of the Kingdom and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. After that, every game that has like a narrative, I'm just going to stream from now on because I think it'll be faster and easier. Aside from Fire Emblem, though. Fire Emblem is still going to have Let's Plays because that's like a specialty, and maybe Pokemon as well because I have the Pokemon channel. I don't know. I'm still figuring things out with the channels and whatnot. I don't want to just like create a whole new channel and whatnot. I'm still thinking over it. But for now, my efforts are focused mainly on Identity 5, Zeez of 2, and this channel as well. I still have a lot of ideas for this channel that I want to do, and I want to try and get those done this year because we're 2 weeks into the new year, right? We're 2 weeks into the new year. We've got 50 weeks left. That's a lot of time to work with, right? That is a lot of time to work with. And so far, I don't think I've been doing too bad in 2024, right? I think I could be doing better, but I don't think I've been doing bad. My efficiency is slightly better than it was in 2023, I feel like, especially with uploading on Zeez of 2. I just got to keep the ball rolling, right? I notice every single day where there are points in the day where it's just like, ooh, if I did this instead at this time, I could have got this done and then this done. It's stuff like that. I'm trying to like maximize my efficiency, right? I'm really paying attention to my efficiency. And I really hope there's a day where I can just like consistently upload across all the channels, which is going to be hard, right? It's going to be hard to do that. But I'm figuring it out, right? We're getting there bit by bit, slowly but surely. And yeah, that's what I mean when I say I don't want to quit YouTube, because I just have so much fun with it. And I have no plans to go anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, again, don't worry about that. It is really fascinating though to go back to that topic though of like the passing of the torch, because then there's going to be one day where I pass the torch, right? I'll pass the torch to somebody else who is now like in their early 20s, And while I'll be like 40, it's just like, all right, Shifu, Po, it is your turn. I am Master Oogway. I must fly off into the freaking night sky or whatever. Something stupid like that. But that's literally how it is, dude. It's literally how it is. And that's really interesting because YouTube, this is the first time something like this has happened, sort of, where the first generation, the pioneers of YouTube, are leaving. But I think it's so unique specifically for YouTube because, yeah, this happens all the time. But YouTube is such a new job. It's such a new thing that having like a cycle of creators that comes in. Obviously, there are new creators every single year. I guess just separating things from like freaking Gen Z, Millennial, Gen Alpha, whatever, stuff like that. I don't really know how to describe it too well. I've never really paid attention too much to the generational things. But it's just such a special case for YouTube for being such a new thing, right? It's so fascinating to see. And it's going to become, I guess, normalized now with all these creators that are backing out. And it makes you wonder, like, how many years do other creators have left? Like, for example, Markiplier, Jacksepticeye. Those are like two really, really popular creators that have been around for a while. Are they going to keep on doing it? Are they going to move on to other things? I know Markiplier works on movies now. I know Jacksepticeye does other things as well. I keep up with them, sort of, not really. I mean, I don't watch them as religiously as I used to, but you know, I'll watch them a few times a month. And those are just two very, very popular examples. There's plenty of other people out there, plenty of other creators out there that have been doing this for years, and it makes you wonder, like, how much time do they have left? How much gas do they have left in the tank? And I guess another thing is just like YouTube is exhausting, dude. It truly does take away a lot of your life, right? If you don't have an editor and you are just starting out, it takes a dummy amount of time. I guess that's the case with like any business, but like a lot for YouTube, right? You really need to hone your craft and you really have to just sacrifice a lot. It sucks. I mean, right now I'm doing full-time YouTube, so I don't have to sacrifice too much, but I have some friends who are like, you know, still in school, still have like a regular job. And like the amount of time that they have to sacrifice for YouTube is really crazy, right? It really is a sacrificial job. And just noticing like how much time I spend on YouTube every single day, it makes me wonder just like, oh, what else could I be doing in this day if I wasn't working on YouTube? I don't know. It's really interesting. That's why like people are always like, you know, they're always glorifying YouTube. They're always like, oh, it'd be so fun to be a YouTuber, but it does take some hard work. I'm not gonna say it's like freaking like difficult, like, oh, you have to be, you know, it takes like a PhD to be a freaking YouTuber. You need to be so smart and so work so hard. But it's not as easy as people make it seem out to be, right? I'm sure there's like a lot of people that'll look at YouTube and be like, oh, you're just playing games. That's pretty easy, right? But you know, there's still the business, the marketing, the editing. There's a good amount that goes into it. And also the fact, if you just have a stale personality, nobody's gonna want to watch you, right? If you just, hey guys, welcome. We're gonna play some COD, and then it's like 2 minutes of gameplay. And it's like, oh, that was a good shot, bro. Nobody's gonna want to watch that, okay? That's what I mean. You gotta know what people want to watch, which I guess is also kind of hard with YouTube nowadays as well. A lot of the time, it's difficult to tell what people want, which I think is another reason why creators are leaving. It's harder to tell nowadays what people want. I think a lot of that is due to like, you know, the Mr. Beastification and whatnot, where it's like everything has to be super, super grand. And with these top creators constantly raising the bar for content, it makes newer creators really difficult to step out in the limelight unless they have like a really, really unique idea, which I guess is just how the state of YouTube works. You know, in the past, you just see new creators pop up because of just like, as simple as they have like a cool personality or something. And like, while that is still the case on YouTube, it just isn't nearly as relevant, right? You could have like a new creator that's just like, oh, I like this creator, I like their personality, and they have like, you know, editing that's passable, audio that's passable, and they'll show up, right? They'll show up as long as they're just like work hard enough and they're diligent enough, and the audience like likes them. But now it's just like, uh-oh, do you not have like a super awesome, amazing idea? Do you not want to spend freaking a month working on a single video? Well, get out of here, I guess. You stand no chance. Because, you know, Mr. Beast right now, just like, he's the king of YouTube, and he's like uploading insanely high quality videos like every 2 weeks. It's insane. And I could go into like the things that Mr. Beast has done and how his scheduling works. It's really fascinating to see. Like I think about how much I work on YouTube every single day, and then I think about him and I'm just like, huh, he does things at a much higher level and probably more time as well, which is really interesting. I know he did say that like it really does have an impact on his like mental state though. Obviously he does have like a massive support group. He has many friends to help him out with his stuff. And he's also not alone, right? He's got like a massive team. But he's handling things at such a higher level compared to me. Whereas my thing is just kind of like, oh, I record a video, then I'll edit it, and I'll do this, and I'll add in these effects so I think it's funny, and then I'll think about the title and the thumbnail for a bit, and then I'll go with this. Because that's just like, you know, a standard solo creator kind of job. But then, like, you know, Mr. Beast has got like a massive team where he's simply thinking about like the purest, rawest form of content that he would think would be interesting, and he focuses on the things that like are most important in the creative mindset, I suppose. And I guess just thinking about the differences is really interesting because, you know, I like comparing myself to Mr. Beast because obviously he's the top creator, so like, you know, I can learn a lot from him. But I feel like I have like a very similar drive, I guess, to YouTube that he has. I think he definitely is better at it than me, like 100%. Like he's better than like everybody at it, but he's got like something much more special, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. But obviously we still have a very similar passion to YouTube, and I feel like many other people do as well. Obviously he's like on another level and whatnot. And he sacrificed a ton for YouTube. Like that's like literally his entire life. And while I've sacrificed a lot for YouTube too, I can't say that I've sacrificed more than him. I don't know. Again, I don't even know him as a person. I've only really known this stuff from like the interviews and whatnot. But it's really interesting to see that like how passionate he is about YouTube and how I am, you know, quite similar in that way. Just being super passionate about YouTube, enjoying the stuff that I create and whatnot. It's fascinating to see. YouTube truly is just like a fun thing to talk about. That's why whenever I do these solo casts, half the time I just end up talking about YouTube because again, when YouTube is like 95% of what you do, you don't really have that much else to talk about. Unless it's like specifically, you know, the media and whatnot that I've consumed. Which I guess when it comes to that, the only thing I've really seen recently is that Ted movie. I've been watching more One Piece. I'm now on the Wano arc, so that's been really fun. I might talk about One Piece on the channel eventually, but I can't wait for it to get like 200 views only, so that'll be a good time. Yeah, but anyway, I think I might just wrap it up there. I don't really have too much else to talk about for this week. I do have like some topics, but I'd rather talk about them with other people, so I think I'm gonna leave it there. Sorry for the shorter episode, but I do hope you enjoyed, everybody. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.